Yeah, Coach. Just wondering what you've seen in
How you
Jamaal
doing?
Williams so far and how he fits either in system or on his own ability in what you're trying to do with the running backs.
You start with his leadership on and off the field, especially in the classroom. Just he brings that presence, that leadership that a running back who's played the game brings. So that's one of the things. When you get out on the field, you look at his work ethic. This guy's out there working. He's staying out there. He's asking questions. He's catching balls. He's going through footwork. It's a pleasure to have him.
And also, he looks like a pretty upbeat kid, too. I wonder what sort of value that brings to for a guy who's part
Yeah.
of a
So in our running back
running
room,
team.
we talk about juice. We talk about just having juice on the field. And anytime you leave the building and you go between the lines, things change. So you're going to have to turn it up a notch. So we talk about that, and it's natural for him.
All right, cool. Thanks.
John Macaroon.
Hey, Duce, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you. I'm just curious, at this point in time, based on your experience as a running back, what would you expect for a second-year running back to be able to kind of accomplish heading into his second year here and speaking with about DeAndre Swift?
Yeah, it's about growth. That's the one thing. And it's a couple different levels when you talk about growth. You want him to grow in the passing game. And people think as soon as you say that, you're talking about just going out there and running routes. Nah, that's the end of it. The beginning of it is understanding coverages, understanding what defenses is trying to do to you. That's one part. The second part is just blitz pickup. Understanding what they're trying to do as far as a team who want to bring more than one. Sometimes they'll bluff and bring it from the other side. So try to understand coverages and everything that brings.
And then one other thing I had was, obviously the team has had a veteran running back on the roster for the better part of the past couple of seasons. Obviously the team's talking about potentially signing Todd Gurley. What does having a veteran running back do for a running back's room?
Oh, man, Todd Gurley. I mean, the name, you sit back and you say his name and all kind of highlights just pop up. Here's a guy who's been very successful in the league. Here's a guy, you go back a couple of years ago, man, was unstoppable. And, we looking at anybody that can help the Lions. And Todd Gurley definitely can help the Lions. His leadership, along with Jamal's leadership in the room, and just being able to go out there and have fun. And I know the kid loves the game, and he loves to have fun. He'll be a good addition.
And then just real quickly, if the team doesn't sign Gurley, do you believe that this room would be okay without potentially a veteran in the room?
Yeah, well, when you look at Jamal's a veteran, so and it's all about games played, and I understand that. That's where the experience come from. But without a doubt, Jamaal and Swift and the backs that we have on the roster right now, they're here because we believe in them and we know what they can do.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Rogers.
Hey, Deuce. Obviously, you're
Hey, how you doing?
speaking here. I'm doing well, thank you. You're speaking here as part of the coordinators, and I think that's intentional. You came here over other offers with the intent of kind of building up that head coaching resume. So outside of this forward-facing thing, what are some behind-the-scenes things that Dan is putting on your plate that is kind of preparing you for that next step?
Just being a part of the meetings. And when I say a part of the meetings, just having that meeting with Dan after he had a meeting, if I couldn't make it. Just Dan being able to share the knowledge with me. I'm taking notes. I'm writing down everything. And we had those type of conversations. Of course, during the draft, he came to me and he gave me certain assignments, wanted to know what I thought about this guy or that guy. So I gave him a couple of reports. That was cool. But, I mean, you just can't – I think people always want to know, okay, what's going on here, what's going on there. Sometimes it's a simple conversation. We'll be at the coffee, getting coffee, and he'll tell me something that he's going through right now or he's trying to fix. That right there is knowledge in his shoes, and that'll help me also.
This is obviously something Sean Payton did for him, and now he's paying it forward. Is this what you envisioned when you took this job, this kind of involvement in, I guess, all the different layers of the organization?
Yeah, Dan told me that. So, of course, outside looking in, you have your thoughts. But when Dan, he came to me and someone tells you, okay, man, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it. And that's what we've been doing since.
And then one more from me, JaMarr Jefferson. There was, some excitement in the organization when he was still there in the end of the 7th round. What does he need to do? What does he need to show you through this offseason to contribute as a rookie?
Yeah, and it starts just with the simple things, just understanding the NFL, understanding how things are done, understanding now you're leaving college. There's a lot of responsibility on your plate. So anything small from, well, not really small, but from being on time, making sure you go back over your playbook, right before the meeting, or staying longer or staying after to ask questions. Some of those things that he has to kind of get on his belt. And that's any college guy. They got to understand study hall is staying in the room with me a little bit longer. You're not leaving the room to go to study hall.
Thank you, Duce.
Got two more, Larry Lage and then Dave Burkett.
Hey, Duce, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's your reaction to the NFL saying that they're going to stop using race norming, which assumes black players started with a lower cognitive function related to the brain injury claims with a lot of your peers who are fighting to get money in part because of this?
Yeah, it's two parts that I think about when it comes to this. First is insulting, very insulting, for that to even be going on. And then the second part, like I said, I didn't get a chance to read everything, but I'm hearing stuff about it. The second part is now the NFL is correcting themselves. With the first part, without being corrected, you still have a problem. But now I guess they're coming out and saying, okay, this was wrong, this, that, and other, and they're correcting it now, which that's what you want.
Final one, Dave Burkett.
Thanks for sharing your thoughts on that important stuff. And Justin earlier led me exactly down the path I wanted to go to, was sort of you and your future as a head coach and what this opportunity means. The things that you talked about, Dan giving you, during the draft, is that outside running backs too? I mean, is he asking your opinion on different position groups?
Yeah. Outside of running backs, of course I had the running backs because, that's my job, but just other positions, defensively, special teams players. So you get a chance to kind of learn coming from the Saints, how they did things. And, I get a chance to continue to learn and build my resume.
So the note-taking that you've been doing during this process, is that something that you've always done? And maybe you can just, explain a little bit more of that. Do you have volumes of notebooks that you refer to?
Yeah,
You've been preparing for this, I guess.
I got you. And a lot of it is mental too. So once again, if you're at the coffee machine, like I spoke of, it's not like you have your notebook taking notes, You're just grabbing some coffee and you're having a conversation. And then you go back and jot it down or whatever. But I just try to write down everything. I try to write down everything, especially when you're learning. That's what you got to do, so you can go back and kind of go over it just in case you have any questions. But I do have a lot of notebooks.
So do you review those like in real time, or is that when you get a job at some point, will that be your reference that you'll go back and look at?
A little bit of both. Because if something sticks out, you don't wait. You go back and check the notebook. You say, all right, let me make sure I heard that right, or make sure I wrote that down correctly.
Yeah. And then very last thing, and maybe this is nothing because obviously you were a player, so you've had a lot of time in front of a camera, but what do you think something small like this does, right? Being up in front of the camera, talking, being able to address important issues publicly. How do you think that helps you in, your future goals, I guess?
Well, first of all, it's not small. And any opportunity that you get to stand in front of you guys and you guys ask questions and, we converse and I try to answer the questions or try to give you the answers you want and understanding the question. I think that's huge. I think that's huge with preparation, becoming a head coach. You can't get enough of this, in my opinion.